Well, hello and good morning, everyone. I want to welcome you to another Flycast Partners webinar. Folks, all those of you attending today's webinar will, at the end, receive a certificate for some coffee just for attending today's presentation. And I want to welcome you to our Windows 10 migration presented by Michael Durant. Now, Michael is an experienced pre-sales senior solutions consultant with extensive experience in collaborating with clients on IT strategies. He is a proven leader that is results-driven, motivated professional with extensive experience in spearheading the management, design, development, implementation, and testing of most IT solutions. Recognized leader in effectively translating major business objectives into high-impact technical solutions. Commitment to helping organizations achieve maximum benefit from their IT investment through team leadership, strategy execution, and commitment to quality. Now, Michael has almost 20 years in the IT space and a reputation for dedicated teamwork, high-energy work ethic, and commitment to customer service. Adept in analyzing customer needs and collaborating effectively with clients, assessing needs and resolving issues. Conscientious and dependable in completing projects with appropriate time frames. So we're very fortunate to have Michael with us. And Michael, before we get started, let me introduce our organization. Flycast Partners is here to deliver a seriously amazing IT experience. We were founded and staffed by personnel that have many years of experience in the IT space. We took the best ideas from these collective experiences and added the best components necessary to grow and become a leading value-added reseller in the North American IT market. We offer best-in-class implementation services and training in IT service management, IT asset management, IT operations management, enterprise service management, and workload automation spaces, all using ITIL best practice. Our professional services can easily scale up or down to meet the IT needs of any customer, regardless of your size, complexity, or budgetary restrictions. We offer implementation services both on-site and remote, as well as training to help reinforce your organization's long-term IT success. Our ongoing remote administration and support service offerings will enable you to focus on those normal day-to-day operations, saving you both precious time and money. Now, folks, if you have any questions for us, please reach out to us at 844-FLYCAST. That's 844-359-2278. Or simply visit our website and check out some of the tools that we offer and upcoming webinars that we've got going, even some partner events that are upcoming. Share the events with your coworkers. Let them know of some of the things that we have coming up. Today, folks, we will take your questions, and Michael will answer as many questions as he possibly can before the end of our time limit. Now, we do have quite a few people that are still logging in and trying to get in. But with that being said, I'm turning it over to you, Michael, and let's go ahead and get started.
Great. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Rich. I know you are in part of the state that is the country that is very early, so thank you for doing that.
Oh, no problem. California is beautiful this time of year. I'm just saying.
Let me know when you see my slides up, Rich, and if you've seen the presentation with Flycast Partners.
I see it, and you're good. Yep. Absolutely.
All right. Perfect. All right. So good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. My name is Michael Durant. Great introduction, Rich. So today I want to thank you. Thank you all very much for joining us for this presentation of a Windows 10 migration. These migration projects are sort of near and dear to me. We will be showing you a presentation of multiple solutions today. What Rich didn't mention or might have, and I might have missed it, is, my background comes from using one of these solutions, and I wish I had the other two. And we'll talk about how those other two plays an important part in this process. So I figured before we get started, I'll tell you a little bit about Ivanti. Obviously, I worked for them back in 2008 to 2000. Actually, I worked as a customer back in 2008 to 2012, and I actually joined them when they were Landesk. They are privately owned, still privately owned. They are headquartered in Salt Lake City, over 1,700 employees, and they're a global organization. They have over 13,000 plus customers, a very large ecosystem, partner ecosystem, and we happen to be Partner of the Year in 2018, so we're very, very proud of that. As you can see, they were established in 1985, so you're dealing with a vendor with a breadth of experience. And with that experience, they've been organically, developing these solutions, which has propelled them into that leadership recognition, so to speak. And they've also they've done some acquisitions over, about 10 acquisitions since 2012. And in today's demonstration, you would see some of those in action. So if you look at this acquisition history, started in 2012, where I actually still worked as a customer. I remembered when Managed Planet was acquired. For today's demonstration, we'll be looking at solutions that will provide, best of breed things like patching using the Shavlik, content. Within that solution, you can expand in not only, doing a Windows migration, but also securing your environment and your third-party applications through that patch management. That solution also provides an enterprise mobile management system. So, you can extend in managing those endpoints across your digital, requirements and with those users that are on the go. And also in these acquisitions, we fast forward a bit, you would also see Extraction, which is a business intelligent dashboarding and reporting tool, which allows you to seamlessly connect to the Ivanti solutions, which, by the way, comes as an added bonus with no additional cost with the purchase of one of these solutions. And also the AppSense solutions, which is now UWM, User Workspace Management. Within that solution, there's an environment manager, which allows you to, again, manage those user profiles seamlessly for access to things like files, user settings in applications, desktop settings to streamline those applications. So what's on the menu today? So we're going to talk about why Ivanti. We will also look at the Windows migration and the solutions that are included in that process and how they can benefit you. And at the end, we'll look at a video presentation from one of the Ivanti engineers that has been condensed to show you the solutions in action. And as Rich mentioned, we'll have, we'll leave some time for some questions and answers. What I urge you is, this is a condensed type presentation giving you, an overview of how these solutions will work together and how they can benefit you. I urge you to, reach out for presentations, maybe a more in-depth view of each of these solutions and how they can benefit you in the event that you need help in other areas. All right, so why Ivanti? In reference to this specific topic, we'll kind of focus on today's topic as to why Ivanti can be beneficial to you. Well, with the solutions that you're going to see today, you'll be able to simplify your images. Everything is, extrapolated from the OS. So typically what I've seen in the past is these sort of bloated, images with, applications in them, maybe configured for a specific department, all sort of, captured together. And, what Ivanti allows you to do, again, is simplify those images, separating those OSs from, things like drivers, applications, and lay those back down automatically. Time-saving templates. So you can provision new or existing devices, using templated type approaches to your OS deployments. So you can have users up and running with fewer incidents. Again, a key area to today's topic, those user profiles. We all have experienced where users have use their desktop as that sort of storage. They've also customized applications to their specific needs, things like maybe an Outlook MAPI profile, things around, maybe a specific user printer settings. So you want to keep that experience consistent. You want to be able to extract and use, move those user profiles and settings between those Windows versions, fluidly. You also want to improve your ongoing provisioning processes. Use a migration process to upgrade your processes, to look at where you may have, issues today, where things are sort of broken. You can improve your patching, your software deployments, and license compliance using some of these tools these solutions that I'll be showing you today. Again, this is one of the areas that I've used with these solutions. Delivering new machines with zero touch, create a system of applying your image to user profiles and devices, which will come directly from your resellers. So the system has the ability to, connect or provide sort of B2B connectors to your vendors or your preferred vendors, in which you can also provide imaging or connections to your environment, so you can seamlessly deliver those devices to your end users, wherever they are. Maintain security standards. Obviously, when a migration of this type takes place, this is also going to be a concern for security. So you're going to be able to migrate these devices to the latest version of Windows without unencrypting them. Gain things like privilege management and controls during this update. This should make your security department very happy. You can also provide migration scheduling options. Users, they're sort of less resistant when they can pick the time of when they can upgrade. So with these solutions, you'll be able to, create a simple click, for an end user through something like maybe a self-service portal, maybe a using User Workspace Manager's desktop, so they can, a simple click, they can go ahead and go through that migration process. And you will also want to be able to keep tabs, get real-time, migration processes, inform executives as you move forward, provide insight, and we'll take a look at how that, what solution actually provides that for you. So today's topic, the Windows 10 migration. Looking at this, all depends on what OS you're moving from, what OS version you're moving from. However, there are areas that you have to, focus on. The OS, obviously the operating system, whether it's Windows 7, I've experienced a Windows XP to Windows 7 migration. I've also experienced Windows 7 to Windows 10 migration. So you have the OS, you have the drivers, you have applications. You also have, user profiles. And all of these needs to be captured from the existing system. How are those applications being used? Where are those files being stored? Are they stored in a organized location, not on your desktop? What settings in those applications are required? And then you have to now deliver that to maybe new hardware, a new operating system, and you have to keep that experience for that end user, because you're striving to be that trusted source. And these users could be distributed across the world. How do you, how do you handle things of that nature? And that's what we're going to look at today. Again, there's nothing worse, right? You on Friday, you've printed your projects and you got all your email responses out. You printed to your favorite printer before you left. All is wonderful system-wise, but you're scheduled for an upgrade. And now you come in on Monday. You have this new system. You're excited, but this laptop has been upgraded to a new OS. None of your files are there. None of your printers or your application settings work. That's not good. That user is going to be unproductive on that day. So let's talk about the Ivanti Windows 10 migration. So what you're looking at today, or what you will be looking at today, is 3 solutions in action: Endpoint Manager, Environment Manager, and File Director. Each of these solutions will help you do things like gather your inventory. Your Endpoint Manager can assist in gathering that inventory, imaging, providing security parameters for that Windows 7 machine or your current operating systems that it is within your environment. Your Environment Manager now can also gather how and where specifics are for that user's persona. And File Director will come in to manage those files. We'll look at some examples of how File Director can extend your capabilities of managing those files as your digital consumers require that. Now, obviously, it comes once you collected all of that information, you need to look at options of delivering it. So with the Ivanti solutions, again, the endpoint management solution, you have the ability to deliver back down, as I mentioned before, automatically to new hardware devices, different hardware devices, and different operating systems, also to MDM devices as well. Using this solution, you can also offer things like, with workflow automation, an autopilot approach where users can enroll, and as I mentioned earlier, they can, with a one-click, proceed with that upgrade process. Again, decoupling things like applications, OS drivers, so you can provide a lightweight process, delivering the operating system separately and then laying down automatically things like applications, required applications based on policies and also the specific settings that were originally captured for that end user. And again, using Environment Manager and File Director, you can provide the user's persona back to that new operating system or that new hardware that the user has just received. Now, during this process, what will be important is gaining insight to how things are progressing. And again, as I mentioned earlier, how providing this insight to your C-levels, your executives, so they can see progress and maybe if there are any issues as they arise, using the extraction module, which I mentioned comes with the purchase of any of these solutions within your environment. Now, this is the goal, right? This is what we strive for. We strive to be that trusted source. You know, we want that user experience to be consistent and fast with the Ivanti solutions. And these are solutions that are in place. They're integrated to each other. These templates are available for you to download, so you can, for each of these solutions, so you can sort of get that head start and providing the elements of this project to organizations. So why Windows 10 and why now? Well, if we look at these 4 areas specifically, application compatibility, vendor support for critical legacy, Windows 7 applications are probably, going to expire, and that date is approaching, which can be a blocker when it comes to upgrading applications and maintaining the security around that. Obviously, support for Windows 7, which has been extended to, I think, January 2020. So, that's going to come very, very quick. Security, a very big area. Windows 10 is the priority when it comes to security patching for Microsoft and, antivirus vendors. So something to consider there. And obviously hardware, upgrade your existing to consume new and modern hardware capabilities. And also your end users will be, requiring that as they, go along in their daily activities and require these maybe integrations and necessities to become more productive in their environment. Obviously, there are common concerns when, migrating to doing a migration of this type. If you look on the left, they're all sort of related to users, and user data loss, retaining access to key applications, and not just access, but how is that application configured? If you think of that, accountant who's been working there for 15 years with a specific ERP, and now you're upgrading her, and you have to maintain those settings. End user losing their desktop, start menu tasks, bar settings resulting in reduced productivity. If an icon is not there, I used to work on the help desk. I know what that meant for that particular user. And if it's not in that specific place, even if it looked a little different, so sort of maintaining that customized, experience for that end user. And what happens to remote users? How do you maintain those? So these solutions are proven to, I myself have used, these solutions where, when it comes to dispersed networks, that presents another challenge, So in terms of data, with the Ivanti file director, we can securely migrate, all of your users, whether it's on-premise or, in the cloud, allowing the users to access that data from anywhere or from any device. The key applications, as we mentioned on the left, all of that user environment with Environment Manager, we provide, we can provide a persistent setting for those users in particular, departments, wherever they're located, whatever device they log on to, so they can have that experience, again, maintaining that experience. They can get to their files from any device. That's familiar look and feel. The Environment Manager can also provide, your desktop, start menu, taskbar mounts, Windows settings to, maintain that across different operating systems. A phased approach, on the right, when it comes to, maybe running in a hybrid environment. Again, with File Director, we can manage, your data, so it can be accessed from different devices. Doesn't matter what operating system you're on. Environment Manager can also allow those settings to roam from, again, those different operating system versions. This is decoupled from the end user, allowing that seamless roaming capability across platforms. How do you manage Windows 10 and, remove things like, Candy Crush? Your games, providing that sort of environment for each of these departments. Environment Manager can also help you, do things like clean up your start menu, your taskbar per user level, per department level, maybe also per device level. Obviously, a common topic is, I want to be able to move to Office 365. So File Director has a connector enabling you to unlock 1 terabyte of storage per user and move away from things like on-premise data centers. Environment Manager also provides, the ability to roam with things like Outlook. OneDrive, OneNote can be cached, profiles utilizing VHD caching roaming solution. So again, these are areas that Ivanti can, help you manage that migration, providing those solutions and those tools when it comes to that migration initiative. Ivanti is a proven solution, set of solutions that have been integrated and in place with templates to allow you to get to that success when taking on a project of this type. So we talked about that insight. So here's an example of extraction. And this is an example of a Windows 10 readiness dashboard. This will give you insight into things like as you, query your environment to see when things are ready or not ready, in terms of maybe even when users are checking in to initiate a Windows 10 upgrade. You can also see things around your manufacturers, by computer type, maybe by scope, by location. and also by warranty information. And this is just an example of one of the dashboards in which you can provide rich and useful information around the topic that you are focusing on. So let's look at each of these solutions quickly from a high level. As I mentioned, the Endpoint Manager can help you, ease these migrations. You can move from OS to OS using a templated OS deployment method, where you can have parts of what's needed for that OS deployment being laid down in specific sections, so that you can have templates for maybe, different locations, different department needs, different requirements. And this system allows you to sort of decouple drivers using hardware independent driver capability, and also lay down things like applications and patches to secure that operating system, and that can all be done separately, allowing you to provide a lightweight image which can be easily managed. Again, we talked about decoupling those applications, and these applications can be presented in many ways. So typically, when it comes to an image, these applications, or some applications, required applications, are part of that image, making that image very large and hard to deliver to maybe a dispersed network. With the Endpoint Manager, we can separate that process and automatically deliver these applications according to the requirements of the organization. When it comes to that user environment, Environment Manager allows for continuous sync between those user settings. So it doesn't matter what environment that user is in, what OS they're logging into, what hardware they're logging on to, or where they're logging on from, whether it's their machine or borrowed machine. That user experience will be able to be synchronized across the globe, providing, again, a happy user with a consistent and fast user experience for them. Now, when it comes to your files, this is an area where I've seen, lots of options. But again, those options not only come from a solution set, it also comes from your user environment, where they're saving those files. So with File Director, we have the ability to accommodate a couple of methods. Method A is where you can, sync a user file directly from one machine to the other. And this could be maybe, a one-off image you're doing for, an in-house end user, maybe a little behind and getting their system upgraded. So you have the capability of doing, a transfer of files in that method. But method B is more of an enterprise approach, where this end user may not only use their machine. They may travel and use multiple machines. They may want to log on to a machine, while in an office at an admin desk, and be able to have those user files accessible to them. So with File Director, we can sync to, your OneDrives. We can create a continuous sync, a scheduled sync, and offer multiple configurations to what may be suited to your organizational needs. All right, so now to the video presentation. So just to kind of set this up a bit, this is a condensed video done by an engineer at Ivanti, where he talks to all of these solutions. You will see them in action. The Endpoint Manager will be capturing those OS and delivering those operating systems to new hardware. You would see Environment Manager capturing that user environment and delivering it to a different operating system, and providing that user experience as we talked about throughout this demonstration. So let's get started. And let me turn up my volume here a bit. And Rich, if for any reason you can't hear this video well, please stop me and I'll start it again.
I will definitely let you know, sir.
Hi, my name is Simon Townsend. and welcome to this short video showing how the Ivanti Endpoint Manager, File Director, and Environment Manager technologies can deliver a seamless migration to Windows 10. Let's start by taking a look at a user logging onto their Windows 7 desktop. The user may well have been using this desktop for some time, and hence has customized their desktop so that it's familiar and personal to them. Typical of a user, you can see that this user has set their wallpaper to their favorite animal or family member and saved far too many files onto their desktop. Within the desktop, the user has set and configured common printers and drive mappings they use to be productive. Within applications such as Outlook, the user's MAPI profile, their signatures, and the layout of the mail preview has been configured and tailored to the user's own preference. Line of business applications and other third-party apps like Foxit Reader are also personalized by the user. Toolbars have been used and moved and various options selected, in many cases so the user can be more productive and have an improved user experience. Even Windows-based applications such as Notepad can be personalized. In this case, the user has decided to change the default fonts to Windings. All this personalization typically sits in the user's profile, which, with their desktop files, are both located locally on the Windows 7 machine. Migrating these files and the personalized profile from one machine to another can be a difficult challenge, but migrating them from Windows 7 to Windows 10 can be a painful task for IT and often results in downtime and loss of productivity for the user, as profiles between Microsoft operating systems are not compatible. To understand and collect profile data and the user's files from the desktop, the Ivanti Endpoint Manager can be used to seamlessly deploy agents and configurations to existing desktop machines. In this example, we see the Ivanti Endpoint Manager deploying the File Director and Environment Manager agents down to the endpoint. Ivanti Endpoint Manager gives complete control of when these agents are delivered and reports once complete. The next time the user logs onto the desktop, the Environment Manager agent starts to discover and capture the user's profile, regardless of whether it is a local or a roaming profile. The profile is then synchronized with the data center over HTTPS, and in parallel, File Director technology also starts to discover the user's files and starts synchronizing those files to the data center over HTTPS. Using built-in reporting tools, IT can gain an insight to which parts of the user's profile has been collected, how big each profile is, and whether there are any outstanding application profiles or data left on the endpoint. Once complete, IT have an estate-wide visibility over which machines and users are ready to be migrated to Windows 10. Once the user and the machine is ready to move, IT then have a number of options available to them. The first option available would involve refreshing the user's hardware and sending them a brand new Windows 10 machine. Another option could involve IT initiating the migration using the Ivanti Endpoint Manager or another third-party deployment technology such as SCCM. In this example, instead of IT pushing the new Windows 10 image down to the machine from Ivanti Endpoint Manager, we offer the ability to advertise the Windows 10 upgrade through a service catalog or IT store-like interface. The service catalog shown in this example uses functionality within Ivanti Endpoint Manager, but likewise could have been presented to the user using the Ivanti IT Store from RES, a web-based service catalog from Ivanti Service Manager, or the customer's existing service management platform. The user has chosen to run the Windows migration at a time that suits them, and the Ivanti Endpoint Manager does the rest. The migration process supports both in-place upgrades and wipe and reload. Ivanti Endpoint Manager can deploy both the OS and the drivers and the applications. Changes to the master boot record and the machine settings can also be configured. Regardless of whether the machine has been migrated by Endpoint Manager or in fact is a new machine, as long as File Director and Environment Manager agents are installed on the new Windows 10 build, the user can log on using their same credentials. The logon process is faster on Windows 10 than it was on 7, as Environment Manager has now replaced all group policies and scripts and is processing the login process in parallel. Just the right amount of user's profile is synchronized down to the database to get the user log on, which also improves log on times. Simultaneously, File Director has started synchronizing the files onto the user's desktop from the data center. Application profile information is synced to application launch, ensuring that applications such as Outlook are personalized and configured as they were before. Foxit Reader and Notepad likewise. This level of personalization ensures that post-migration, the user can be as productive as possible with minimal downtime, ensuring and allowing the migration to be a success. For more information on how Ivanti Solutions can help migrate your desktop estate to Windows 10, head over to Ivanti.com and go to the Solutions page entitled I Want to Migrate My Users to Windows 10.
All right. Well, thank you very much. So just to summarize, what you saw within that short, condensed video is the Endpoint Manager, Environment Manager, and File Director all working in integration with each other, moving an end user from Windows 7 with all of their settings over to a Windows 10 machine. You know, I urge you to reach out to get any in-depth information on any of these solutions that may help you along in your process. You know, you've heard on the video as well, we do integrate with tools like SCCM, so if that's something already in place, we can, you know, help enhance that process for you. So thank you very much, and we'll open up, I'll hand it back to Rich and open up for any questions that we may have.
So far, Michael, it doesn't look like we have any questions from the audience today. Folks, if you do have questions, please feel free to type those in the Q&A section of this WebEx, and we'll try to answer as many of them as we possibly can in the time allotted. For those of you that are interested in further information on Windows 10, I encourage you to reach out to us at 844-FLYCAST. That's 844-359-2278. Simply email us at info@flycastpartners.com, or you can chat with one of our IT experts on our website in the little chat box Monday through Friday during normal business hours. Feel free to reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to answer questions, get you further demos or information needed for you to continue on with your Windows 10 project. It looks like we do not have any questions today, Michael, so I want to thank you for a great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich, and thank you, everyone.
Folks, thanks for joining us for another Flycast Partners webinar. Those of you that attended today will receive an email containing a gift certificate for coffee that will be sent out later today. So please be on the lookout for that. And until our next webinar, we'll see you then, folks. Have a great day.